So, our first speaker today is Mr. Amar Jaffrey, who is the former additional DG FIA and a distinguished member of the Prime Minister's Task Force on Cybersecurity. Amar Jaffrey brings a rich experience in public and private sector, and currently he is leading two initiatives, namely Digital Pakistan and Cyber Secure Pakistan. Mr. Amar Jaffrey is a staunch advocate of the cyber safety and cybersecurity and played a vital role in the development of Pakistan's cyber laws. Today, his topic of speech will be Cyberspace, the New Warfront. A very warm welcome, Mr. Jaffrey. Please unmute your mic, sir.
Thank you. Am I audible? I am audible? Okay.
Yes, sir. Loud and clear.
Respected Amna Malik, Mr. West, you have set the pitch and tone of today's conference. Trust me. I am always very happy when I see a young and dynamic person talking on these issues. Thank you very much for setting the base for what I'm going to talk about. Can you share my presentation? Okay, till is set the presentation. Let me tell you all of you briefly about myself. My name is Amar Jaffrey. I will always be introduced by Mr. West. I won't go in detail. Currently, I feel that there's a genuine need for triggering these dialogues we are talking about. Today, we are talking about a domain which is very well discussed in most part of the world. Ladies and gentlemen, let's not forget that the advanced countries invented all these things for their own defense, for their strategies. We are the recipient of all these advancements. We have yet to think upon it, ponder upon it very seriously, that to what advantage we can use them, to what advantage we should understand them. Next, please. Next, please. I have already talked about myself. So next, please. Next slide. Next slide, please. Okay. We had the internet, we are having internet, and very soon we'll be having internet totally different from the internet of today. I will try to make my humble effort to let all of you know that what's going to happen in next 2 to 3 years. So unless we will not start learning about today's driving force, which is the internet, I think it won't be available. The recent advancement won't be available to us. So let everybody know about the past and present of internet. I'll talk about the future of internet.
I think the master of the presentation chalne de. Let it work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wes trying to do it again. तब तक you can.
Okay.
Is it visible?
No, not now.
Now it's visible.
Okay. Next, please. Yeah, next, please. No, yeah, this one. Okay. Yes, slide before it. Okay. Yes. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, I think the future of internet will be driven by few things like artificial intelligence, like blockchain, like Internet of Things, and all these things. I think all these emerging technologies would have 3 impacts, and we have to think about 3 impacts today. First is the economic impact. Second is the effect on society, and third is the effect on defense. I think today's seminar is focused towards the defense of Pakistan in the new era of cyber warfare. Next, please. Okay, Bruce is the, I think, in top 3 expert in cyber-related issues. He was in Islamabad, I think 10 years before. He was a guest of FIA NR3C. So I asked him a question that what is the best cybersecurity? 10 years before, he said, 2 inch of air, don't connect. Same thing applies today. If we want to be totally secure, don't connect. So let's think together today that can we afford without internet? You may have your thoughts. My feeling is that today internet is like water. It's like air to us. If we won't have internet, I think we'll be in serious trouble. So we have to continue with internet. We have to make our internet secure, and we have to strategize what we want from this internet. Next, please. Okay. If we think about 15 years before, or 20 years before, or even 10 years before, our software was not designed for security. Our networks were not designed for security. We had the typical 7 layers in which we used to think about SSL and all these things. I think today, it should be in the foreground. Why? Let's take the example of DNS. DNS security has become of paramount interest because once I click something, it hops on different locations, then it reaches somewhere. Now, whatever we had between third layer and fourth layer, and then we had SSL and all these things, we have to apply it now. They all know that we are using HTTPSS and we are using SSL. They all know. Hackers are much advanced than us. Today, we'll have to think about DNS security. We have to work on every hop of DNS. Next, please. Okay. I think today cybersecurity should be in the design of everything. Like when you try to conceive your own house, what do you think about it? Where I would sleep, where I would read, where I will sit, where I will in the sunshine. It never happens like this, that you build a house, then you start about your comforts and your work. No. It must be in your design. So anything we think today, be it education, be it health, normally we say, what is the need for cybersecurity in health? Trust you me, only today I was giving a talk in a webinar in Bangladesh that is of highest priority. Because if somebody wants that, for example, I'm doing a contract with someone, and somebody wants that this should be delayed, I think he should just hack into my health system, and he will know that where I'm going. Would I be alive after 6 months or not? Thing like this. So why HIPAA law came in US 25 years ago? Only due to these things. So whatever you are thinking, are you thinking education system, your drones, your even agriculture system, anything you are thinking, cybersecurity must be in the design of that scheme of things. Next, please. Okay, very on a very later side, actually Corona solved my number of problems. A lot of people hearing to me, I was just shouting on the top of the roof that we should do this. So suddenly, in 2 months' time, everything went online. I think Corona, although we have some sad stories about Corona also, we have lost number of lives in Corona, but I'm talking about the opportunity point of view. It is the fastest digital transformation opportunity. Let me tell you something historical. When we had the first week of Corona, it's a record. I went to 3 offices of this country and said, please make internet available to every part of Pakistan and make it free. And Rehan Allahwala was with me in this initiative. Why? I said, give smartphones to everyone now. Even today, we should think about these things. Yes, I understand that there's a repercussion for all these issues also, but today, we cannot think of digital transformation unless we do not think of the cybersecurity. It is the lifeline of digital transformation, including me, Amna, so many people. We are all talking about digital Pakistan. How it is possible that we have a digital Pakistan without cybersecurity? So, cybersecurity must be in the foreground of digital Pakistan. Next, please. Okay. Now, we had internet. We are having internet. And the future of internet would depend on emerging technologies. So we have to think today, even right now today, in every house, average house, we are having 6 or 7 devices on an average, which are transmitting data. But this transmission of data would escalate to 100 times more in next 2 to 3 years of time. We have air conditioners linked with IoTs. We have refrigerators. We have our television. We have our internet connections. Everywhere we are in the domain of Wi-Fi. Even in GSM, there are a lot of issues. So now we have to think in terms of cybersecurity in the era of emerging technologies. Let me give you one example. I'll talk about it in next slides. Industrial revolution. We are all talking about industrial revolution. Think about a minute. I have a factory working normally. And suddenly at 4 a.m. in the morning, when there's less staff, everything goes down and nobody knows what has happened. Look at the mindset of the owner of that factory. Only, I think, 3-4 weeks before I was in Karachi, in the FPCC headquarters, everybody was sitting there. I told them, if you do not adopt IR today, our factories will stop closing after 2 to 3 years. At the same time, I said, going to IR is not a big issue. It's a matter of money and some trainings also. But securing the IR is the biggest challenge. So these are all challenges of cybersecurity in emerging technologies, and we have to ponder very seriously about it. Think about it. Next, please. Okay. I think this is the biggest game changer. Let me repeat again. Only today I requested Amna Malik to have exclusive seminar on this so that we can talk hours and hours on this. Our new generation needs to listen to all these things. This is the, I think, real game changer. And when we say real game changer, defense and our economics is not an exception to it. It will definitely affect the defense. If we will not understand the real implication of artificial intelligence in our defense strategies, I think we are doing something wrong very seriously. We have to think about artificial intelligence, machine writing codes for machine. Very recently, there has been a study. I think some code, machine learning code went wrong, and the Google and Amazon talking to each other, and nobody knows what they're talking about. So this is something. There's a myth behind it. There's an argument, and they have some solid points also, that we should not invest into artificial intelligence because it's going to create more problems than solving the problems. But I think you can't stop time and technology. Artificial intelligence is going to impede everything we are talking about today. Everything we are talking about today. I think today we should talk about use of artificial intelligence for cybersecurity. There are two ways of securing something. Once you wait for some attack, and second is that you anticipate the attack. Now the attack patterns are there. Now the hackers will not enter your system and steal something. No. They will come and they will see what you are doing first. They will not touch anything. Then they will wait for some appropriate time. Be it a fintech system, be it a defense system, be it anything. And everybody will choose the appropriate time at the time of his own interest, and where they have to strike. Next, please. Okay, as I told you that the Industrial Revolution 4.0, we passed through 1.0, 2.0. Only today there was an argument I was doing with some gentleman. He said the Industrial Revolution 4.0 will make a lot of people jobless. I said the same argument was given 70 years before. Nobody lost his job. So Industrial Revolution is creating new jobs. Our dilemma is that we do not understand that what would be those new jobs. Industrial Revolution 4.0 recently our Prime Minister talked about the Industrial Revolution 5.0. Yes, I'm very happy. But we were very good in 2.0, but we totally skipped 3.0, and now we are talking about 4.0. But the good news is that there is a bridge available. And we can, again, I request Madam Amna Malik to have a specialized program on this. We'll talk about it in detail. Now, from 2.0, we can straight go to 4.0. So, recently I was in Salcott and I talked to the chambers, to the university, that we should train our students into Industrial Revolution 4.0. But at the same time, it is dependent on defense of IR cyber defense. Unless we will not think about it, think for a minute. Just think for a minute. I have a factory that is dependent on some piece of technology, right? Somebody hacks it. It has to give me alarm for something, and that hacking does not allow that alarm. What's going to happen? The entire thing is going to destroy. So these are buzzwords. We are all talking about it, but at the same time, as I said in the start, it should be in the design of everything. And here I would like to stress that please, we should think about our own indigenous technologies. We should talk about open source. We should talk about all these things. Next, please. Right, IoTs. We started from things of internet. I'm an old timer computer person. There was a modem, there was a monitor, there was a keyboard. So from things of internet today, we are talking about Internet of Things, because that has escalated to such a big amount that we even can't count it today. So IoTs, again, are game changers. In every technology, in everything, we are talking about IoTs. Now we are talking about IIoTs, industrial IoTs. So now our education depends on IoT, our health system are dependent on IoTs. But at the same time, just think for a minute. IoT in our home is creating a threat for us also, in our office, in our everything. And very painfully, I must discuss with you that we are not talking about the platform of IoTs, the regulations for IoTs, the governance rules for IoTs, the policy for IoTs, the strategy for IoTs. Everybody is bringing stuff of IoTs in Pakistan in the bags, commercial bags. But nobody is talking. Nobody is thinking the device you have in your home, in your computer, what it is doing. It is doing something for you, doing something for somebody else. So these are issues. Internet of Things are, I said, just don't pay attention to what threats are. Just pay attention to how we should mitigate it. You know, there's an old slang that why we need doors in the world of windows. So I think we should think big about it. We have to live with it. We have to take along with this. Next, please. I feel I'm short of time, so I have to be really quick. Okay, blockchain for cybersecurity. You know, again, I must say, at the cost of repeating, that blockchain is not a use case of internet. Like we have web, we have social media, blah, blah, blah. This is the fundamental of internet. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm working on it for the last 5 years. Initially, we took and linked blockchain with cryptocurrencies, and people were discouraged not to invest into blockchain. But yes, it was started through cryptocurrencies. Mr. Satoshi had the idea of cryptocurrency through blockchain, but the blockchain technology has emerged to a certain level that now we cannot afford to ignore it. I think all latest advancements are based on the blockchain issues, but it is a solution to the cyber threat also. Again, I have a limited time, so I won't go into more detail of blockchain, the use of blockchain in cybersecurity, but let me tell you again. Oh, next slide. Very good. Dark side of internet. You know, the day that the humans thought about advancements, even in the in the dark era, there was a dark side of every development. Just think for a minute. The street lights of London are the product of the first industrial revolution. You know, the word constable is the product. The word constable is the product of industrial revolution. That's why in UK they call it chief constable. So if with every advancement, we have a dark side. Criminals are always much ahead of the normal man because they have to work on two sides. One is to secure themselves, to save themselves from the law enforcement, and second is to deprive the people of their hard earnings. So the dark side of internet is there. The I think daily we see a lot of incidents that somebody lost this, and there's a war going on between the cyber criminals and the normal people. So again, it's a trade-off. Either you don't connect, you just sit in your home, do nothing, or so the call of the time is that we should be educated enough to handle the people working on the dark side of internet. Next, please. Next, please. Yes, cyber warfare. I think I personally feel that there'll be hardly any foot soldiers now. There'll be hybrid wars, there'll be cyber wars, and the old slang "bites before bullets" that was in the Georgia war. Actually, first they incapacitated the system, then they entered into the country. So cyber war is there. Hybrid cyber war already started. We are observing it from number of recent incidents, and we must be in the knowledge that our military cannot do everything itself. We have to go hand in hand with our defense forces, because cyber warfare is something linked with the society also. Just think about the rumors era, when we had rumors. But now, let me tell you a historical fact. The fall of Trafalgar Square, London, the news went Canada in 3 years. And now in 3 seconds, everything is everywhere in the world. So from 3 years, we have come down to the level of 3 seconds. At times, I am afraid, and I would like to share it with you. There are some technologies which create holograms in the air. We are Muslims, we believe in so many things. So at times I fear that we have holograms in the air, and there's some sound and all these things, and we have been listening since our birth. So I'm afraid of these things. So we should be very much prepared about hybrid cyber wars, and we should work together with our defense forces. Next, please. Okay. I've talked about it. I won't go into detail. It's a fuel for cyber warfare. And now I think we have to understand that our enemies are studying every click you make on the internet. Let me tell you. The field of data sciences has reached to a level that somebody can anticipate my actions now. That's what I'm going to do tomorrow. Just see your analysis on different websites about you. You know, on a lighter side, we are talking very, very serious. If wife does not likes your Facebook post, there's some trouble, and vice versa also. So it is all based on artificial intelligence. It is not a human selection of things. Our words. Please be very careful when you use the very strong words against somebody on the social media, because these words are being selected. They are put into some box, and AI and identified patterns about your personality. And then you are gauged. To my understanding, after 3 to 5 years, you will be graded based on your performance on internet. Next, please. Uh, I think there are a lot of tools, techniques available to process big data. We are generating big data everywhere in our life, everywhere in our life. Amna, can you tell me the time I have at my disposal?
I think time to ho gaya, but you can continue 1-2 minutes more.
Okay, fine. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. I like to go. Next, please. Okay, deep fake and fake media, all of these things are creating a lot of troubles. Mr. X will be hearing something from Mr. Y against him, or you can find a prime minister of a country praising the opposition leader, and that would be that will be fake. That will be fake media. Even the dialect will be there. Even the words will be there. And voice will be definitely similar there. So it's a big, we should be careful. And that will be used as a weapon in cyber warfare. Next, please. Yes, we have to reinvent our diplomacy. Our traditional diplomatic channels, we have to think about it. Because in cyber warfare, the foreign office has to, and I'm very happy. I'm working with foreign office in something, and they're working on that. But everything has to be reinvented. Next, please. Next, please. Yes, very finally. Next, please. Next, please. We have to handle the cyber conflicts and safeguard our strategic interest collectively. Next, please. We have to standardize everything in our cyber world, because unless we do not conform to the international standards, we are not living in an island. We are living in a country where a lot of countries are surrounded by us. Next, please. Next, please. Okay, my final, yes, need for common criteria. We should be ahead of tide instead of behind of tide if we want to remain aligned with digital transformation. Next, please. I thank you, Amna, and your entire team for giving me the opportunity. And maybe in the end of the today's, I'll be available for any question answer. Thank you, Amna. Thank you very much.
I have just one question, and then we move to our worthy speaker. Amar Sab, you are the part of cybersecurity, President Cybersecurity Committee. So can you a little bit elaborate various development in the cybersecurity sector in the national level, at the defense level, because you know about all the development going on?
Okay, it took us a long time to understand the difference between cybercrime and cybersecurity. We had been making laws, we have been making efforts against cyber criminals. That's fine. But cybersecurity is a different domain, and I'm very happy that the present government has taken it very seriously, and the task force now working on that. And I'm very happy that my friend Farooq is here from Canada. He will tell a lot of things what's happening in Canada. But we are learning fast from international best practices. I think this committee is going very fine. We are working in different domains. We are working in different subcommittees, and I think in next 1 month's time there will be this is very important that we should have a consensus. Cybersecurity is the responsibility of everyone in this country. It is not the responsibility of the government of Pakistan only. It is the responsibility of universities, about civil society, about technology companies, about media. So I am very happy that in different committees we are working on that. We have a very strong group of Cybersecurity Alliance of Pakistan. I am very happy that people are, I think 4 members in that committee, and I'm very happy that they are working together. We get wisdom from our group of 500 people. Farooq is also in that group, and that wisdom we join it together, and then we go to the committee and we talk about it. And I'm very happy and very excited to inform you it's a very serious effort. And I must bring on record, President of Pakistan is very well aware of all these issues. Really, I'm so excited when I listen to him. I never thought about it, that the person of his stature will understand these delicate matters so deeply. So I think we are working in different domains, in different actions, and in I think the next few weeks of time, we'll be consolidating, and then it will go to the cabinet, and then from there to go to the assembly. Thank you.